White House ripping into Republicans for giving speeches at the border rather than bending to the administration's immigration reform plan, even though President Biden has yet to visit the border. Watch this hypocrisy. Watch.
For all of those Republicans who are standing at the border and giving speeches about how broken the system is, why don't you join us and be a part of the solution instead of relying on speeches? Because we can work together and get immigration reform passed.
Joining me right now is former White House senior advisor, America First legal president, Stephen Miller. Stephen, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for spending the time with us. That was just extraordinary. I mean, all of these months, 8 months into this administration, where the Republicans were trying to appeal to this administration of the danger at the wide open border, and now you've got Jen Psaki throwing it back at Republicans. Your reaction?
It's really, truly one of the most incredible things I've ever heard anybody say from the White House podium. This is really quite straightforward. Under President Trump, he inherited a system that was unimaginably broken, unimaginably unworkable, unimaginably unsafe. And he systematically, piece by piece, step by step, program by program, fixed everything, to the point where if you crossed the border illegally, whether you were an unaccompanied minor, whether you were part of a family unit, whether you were a single adult, you would be quickly apprehended and quickly deported. Simple, straightforward, effective security through a complex network of reforms and international agreements. Joe Biden came in, dismantled the reforms, dismantled the agreements, basically, in other words, canceled immigration reform, undid it, and instead implemented a nationwide policy of catch and release. ICE releases you in the interior, Border Patrol releases you on our international boundary line. What did that produce? What was the result? We've all seen it. The largest wave of humanity illegally crossing our borders, not only in the history of our country, but probably the history of any country in the world. Biden's policies did that. And the only quote-unquote reform they're proposing now, the only quote reform, is in the reconciliation bill, a generalized amnesty for people living here illegally today who arrived as recently as this year, and eliminating all controls on future immigration. That's not reform. That's destruction.
Yeah. Yep. Now, let me just point out that in Bernie Sanders' budget, which is the Biden budget, there's no money for Homeland Security. There's no money in the infrastructure package to build the wall. So, I mean, the hypocrisy is beyond. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas just admitted something that makes it that much worse. He said yesterday that 1 in 5 illegal immigrants arriving at the border have, quote, an illness. Mayorkas saying that he did not expect such a surge as the one that Delta variant has had in recent months. So now they're blaming the Delta variant, Stephen, even though we know for sure that they have not been testing everybody at the southern border. Many Border Patrol agents have told me that. I've reported that on the air. How do you say that COVID is a priority for this administration when they've got wide open borders with no COVID testing?
Well, it's not a priority. I mean, the reality is that hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants are arriving unvaccinated, untested, unscreened, unmasked, no distancing, no isolation, no quarantine, no nothing. And they're entering the community not only with COVID and new variants, but many other serious illnesses, taking up beds in hospitals, lengthening the wait time in emergency rooms. You also have many individuals who are coming over who are pregnant, who are then giving birth in U.S. hospitals, which taxes resources. That's funded by higher premiums for American patients or higher taxes, or some hospitals actually at risk of going under. So you have an attack on our healthcare system from this administration. But I want to make another point, which is economic. You're talking about this reconciliation bill. We know that the higher taxes are going to lead to businesses offshoring and outsourcing and moving operations to China and other foreign countries. Those same companies then are going to say, oh, well, we need to drive down wages in America in order to compete. So what are they going to do? They're going to use this reconciliation bill to bring in cheaper foreign workers as substitute for Americans. So the middle class are going to get squeezed on both ends. You're going to have a massive offshoring of our factories because of higher corporate rates. And businesses that stay here are going to substitute lower paid foreign workers for U.S. workers. And the middle class is going to be left footing the bill for it all.
Yeah, and the DEA has warned of an alarming increase in fake prescription pills containing fentanyl. So you're talking about all the illegals coming in. Let's not forget about all the illicit narcotics coming in right now as well. And the Mexican drug cartels are lacing regular pills, prescription pills with fentanyl. I reported that as soon as I got back from the border in April. This is a serious crisis. 93,000 overdoses in America because people are taking pills that they don't realize are laced with fentanyl.
So just one quick example, in the migrant camp in Del Rio, they had to surge all of the Border Patrol resources. In order to do that, they closed what are known as the Border Patrol checkpoints. Those are the interior checkpoints that set up on roads so that when people come illegally and they move onto a road, they can stop the vehicle to confiscate drugs, to confiscate contraband, to arrest gang members, cartel members, whatever it may be. They had to close all of the checkpoints. So there was no interdiction operations happening at all. And they also had to pull people off the line. There were as many as 220 miles unpatrolled in the Del Rio, Texas area. So all this contraband got in, and it's going to kill Americans. It's going to kill people who are going to get these narcotics, and they're going to die. So this is a truly life and death issue. And it's shameful, frankly, that Jen is not taking responsibility for it, that Biden is not taking responsibility for it, that Mayorkas isn't taking responsibility for it, because everyone looking with their own eyes understands what's happening.
So America First Legal, your organization has sued the administration. Stephen, last week, the state of Missouri filed an amicus brief in a case that the AFL is serving as outside counsel, where the state of Texas is challenging the Biden administration's catch and release of potentially COVID-positive migrants into the United States. Tell us how you're pushing back and where this is going. Is this going to continue to get worse?
Well, it's going to continue to get worse unless and until the courts force the administration to heal. The lawsuit that we filed with Texas and now supported by Missouri is about the very issue you raised, which is the mass release of unvaccinated, untested, unscreened, oftentimes COVID-positive illegal migrants into the country, who are then spreading the illness to others, including some border agents who are gravely ill and in the hospital as we speak. And there's no countervailing concern here. If you're here illegally and you're sick, you should be removed, period. No questions asked. There's no public benefit to releasing sick illegal immigrants into the country. None. It's all downside for the American people.
Yeah. Stephen, it's great to have you on this morning, and your pushback, I know, is appreciated by so many. Stephen, thanks very much for being here this morning.